I'm awkward.
Hey everybody! Now we're live. Now we're live. Hey everybody! Welcome to the latest episode of Trans Talks. I'm your host, Sammie James. You know that probably. And we're back with another wonderful conversation with one of our trans faves. I mean it every time. This is why. But I'm gonna be honest. Like this performer, this person has a special place in my trans performer and in the We Are Trans family heart. Please welcome poet, storyteller, wonderful human being, aka Lynaé, aka Thatcher's, aka Lynaé, Lynaé, aka I can't talk. Lynaé, aka Thatcher's, aka so many amazing things I can say. How are you?
I'm good. I managed to detangle my hair, which I can feel it rapidly retangling itself, which is great. But yeah, I'm really excited to be here and be talking to you. And yeah, it's Saturday. And it's maybe going to actually feel like winter again, possibly later tonight or maybe.
Sure.
I want snow.
Yeah, it's like I want it to feel like winter, and with the very, with the information in the back of my head that when it does, I will want it to not.
There's also that, yeah. But I want to get to that point of like, oh, winter, ooh, go away. It's like I feel like it popped up and then it like left, but I didn't tell it to leave, and so I feel like I know I want my choice back. I want to be able to tell you, leave. Let me kick you out.
Yeah.
Collectively. Yeah.
So, first thing I ask on this show is for my guests to introduce themselves a little bit more. I specifically ask, what words do you use to describe yourself? And those can be identity words, but they can also be, I like cereal. I'm a nerd. It's like Tiger fan. I don't know.
The Tigers, yeah.
But what are some words you use to describe yourself? And other than that, share anything else you would like to in an intro.
Cool. Yeah, I'm Lynaé. I also recently started going by Lee. I always say I'm Black. I feel like it's obvious, but I like to say it because I like to say it. I'm Black, queer, trans, non-binary, nerd, definitely. I do like cereal. I love waffles too. Yeah, I'm a poet, a storyteller, a comedian, an actor, teaching artist. I love to teach the children. And I also do love tigers, my favorite animal. So there's that.
I know who I'm talking to.
I was like, Sammie, you already know me. You're just like, your examples are like me.
Yeah, no, the thing is, like, they weren't meant to be. Like, I was like, what are 3 random things? And I was just like, wait. Those weren't random at all.
Nope. It was me. It was all me. It was me all along. Yeah, I'm just, I embrace my super awkward nerdiness and, yeah, trying to, I guess, is it too early to call ourselves like pandemic survivors of the perpetual pandemic?
It's spiking again, so.
Like, and by survivor, I mean, like, I'm proud that I'm holding on to my mental health. because there were definitely some times there where I was like, I don't know.
I get it.
Yeah.
Listen, if and my thing is like, listen, like not to judge anyone, but like if you don't get it, like I don't understand.
Yeah. It's been a time. It's been a time, but I'm here. I got a Christmas tree for the first time this year.
Cool.
It's a baby, but I've never had a real Christmas tree before, so I feel like it's my child because I don't know. When I went to get it, I was like, wait, what is the whole thing about like people's Christmas trees catching on fire? Like in my mind, they just like spontaneously combust at some point. And the person was like, no, it's a plant. So just like, keep it away from outlets and open flame and you should be good. And water it. I didn't know you had to water it.
Oh yeah. Yep.
No one told me these things.
I mean, if you want it to last till Christmas, like,
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't, it's fine.
Like, just let it fall apart like Charlie Brown Christmas. But no, it's holding up. And yeah, so those are some things about that's probably as good of an intro.
Yeah. Yay! So, something I'd like to ask you about, because like I've had a bunch of comedians and storytellers on this show, and that's definitely you. But this is mind-boggling to me because we've done a few of these. I think you're the first poet, so I'd kind of like to talk in that vein.
Yeah, let's do it.
That can't be true, but it's just like there was someone's just like, what the hell?
Right.
We talked for half an hour.
Someone out there is like, comments.
Yes. But yeah, so how did you get into poetry? Like, is that something that was always a thing you were into, or like what was the journey to Patras, the poet?
I think survival. It's probably like,
Yeah.
I was talking to a friend the other day. We were talking about like growing up and being, I guess, like older. Well, I still feel weird calling myself millennial because I don't know what it means. But like the older end of millennials, where we were talking about some of the things that happened growing up and like came to this collective decision that our parents didn't talk to us about a lot. Like TV did a lot of the talking. Like, TGI, it was like, this thing happened, but like TGIF they'll address it. So I think a lot of us have like a different understanding of our mental health and like how important that is. And even as kids, I think we knew like there was something there, but there was no word for it. And so for me, I started writing as like an outlet. When I was a very, very small child, I would write stories, but I was it was like very elitist about my story writing. Like I was like, I don't want to write stories about a princess and like that. I want to write real stories, and they're not gonna like. I would like find the best paper I could find. I would rewrite them to make sure that there weren't any like crossouts or anything, and then I created like a cover for them. I would illustrate them. I took the back, like the roll from what is that stuff called? Paper towel. Wow, that stuff to create a binding. And like I would actually like create a full book. I was like, none of that, just like writing it on paper. Like, so it started there. And then I think maybe in junior high or high school, I started writing poetry. It maybe was from someone, I think I was dating someone. It's so weird being queer and thinking back to your like life before you like busted out of all the boxes people put you in. I was like, oh yeah, I was dating. Yeah, yep. Yeah, I think I was dating someone at the time who was a rapper, and so we kind of. But then like, I think a lot of lyricists write poetry and then like but don't really talk about it because it's like mushy. But we would just like sit together, and we never wrote anything together, but we would just like write next to each other. So I would write poetry during like study hall and just like try to get things out of my head, things that I was dealing with that I couldn't put words to. There was probably I don't know where any of it is now. I'm sure a lot of it was like, if I read it now, it's probably super queer and super trans, and I just didn't know that's what it was.
Yeah. I wrote like punk lyrics a lot, like all the time, and like I recently found them just like, whoa, you are so great.
It's astonishing looking back and just being like, oh, if
I wish I could change my body. What? Continue, sorry.
Self now, if you could talk to yourself then, like, hey, so there's a word for that. We're gonna get into it. I was thinking about, I've been like really not even thinking about it at this point. It's like beyond thinking about it. Now I'm like actively pursuing the steps to get top surgery. And I was thinking about it and I was like, because growing up, I've always had a large chest. And when I got to high school, I remember people always like, anytime someone would comment on my chest, it'd always be like, if I could suction them off and give them to you, I would. So I was like looking up stuff for top surgery and I was like, is that a thing? Because I really would like to make good on that promise of someone and be like, hey, remember in high school how I said if I could? Well, turns out I can, and I don't want these. So like, just transfuse them into someone else. And yeah, but even I said that to so many people, and I'm like, yeah, that was wow. If only someone had been like, there's a word for that. Also, that's a possibility. That's a thing you can do. Young life. But oh, right. I was like, how did I get to Thottress though? Where did that come from? So when I moved to New York, I told myself, like, I moved here for theater, but I was like, I really got to do those things that I've been too afraid to do. And so I always wrote poetry secretly, but I never like performed it or like shared it with anyone really. It was just like a thing that I had that I was like, someday I will do this. So when I moved here, I said, this is a thing that terrifies me, which means that I need to do it. And I think the first show that I was on was at, it's not here anymore. Oh, that's a whole like spotty pass because comedy. It was at Reckless. I would say R.I.P. Reckless, but there was a lot of stuff behind that, so I just leave it alone. But the things that happened at that theater, they'll hold a special place in my heart. But but the first time that I performed was at a show at Reckless, and I was terrified, and I was like, oh, I guess I have to like have a name or something, or do I just go as myself? But I didn't want anyone to think that I was writing comedic poetry because I did a lot of improv. So I think a lot. I'm always overanalyzing things. And that's where the name Thottress came from. It was just like, I'm constantly thinking. And so, did that show and then was like, I should keep doing this. And then ended up coming out by putting together a variety show where then I did more. I think that was the second time maybe that I performed my poetry. Was at Beyond the Surface, and I was like, I'm gonna come out as my poetry, but I want to do it and make sure I have community around me. So I'm gonna like put together this entire show.
I met you. I'm just like, that was just whoa, okay.
Like literally, no, I did not say why I created it. I didn't say why I was hosting it. I just like put the show together, put the lineup together, came on stage and was like, by the way, I'm non-binary for anyone who didn't know. So anyway, so that's why you're all here. I miss that show. I miss it's not really the show. I think I just miss being in a room together with people in person. I think it's that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's the full journey, the long and the short of it, the long of it. It was a long story, but yeah, that's how I got there.
Yeah. So, as far as poetry, like what really like what do you like in other people's poems? Like what really like gets you in? You know what? Doesn't even have to be poems. Like other people's art. Like what like gets you? Like grabs you?
Oh, I think that like when people aren't trying to be cool, when they're just because I think so much of art is like there's this constant pressure to be like trendy and like like we all gotta have like a social media following and do all this stuff and like find some sort of like gimmick or something. And I love when art is just when someone's just offering themselves up on a platter and that's it. Like that gets me. Like one of my favorite poems is This Type Love by Shihan. It's just like he's literally just like going in this whole like nerdy breakdown of like the type of love that he's looking for, and then at the end of it you find out that like he's married and like he found that. And I don't just stuff like that. It's just like, oh, because you weren't trying to be cool, you weren't trying to like sugarcoat anything or make it was just like this is my nerdy feelings about love. um yeah, just like raw stuff, the stuff that's why I play a lot of Jasmine Sullivan on repeat. um that stuff is just like the art that makes you feel like you're there with the person, like you were there when it happens, like you were that friend that was like right alongside them whatever happened, whether it's happy, it's sad, it's frustrating, whatever it is, it just makes you feel like you were there.
Cool. Cool. Well, you gave a favorite poem. Who are some of your favorite poets?
I feel like I should have more like historical people.
It's fine.
Who there's so many. Where do I okay, so she had obviously I don't know if people know her as a poet. It doesn't matter. Jill Scott, if anyone is like, if you caught Def Poetry Jam, I'm pretty sure you probably can go back and catch Def Poetry Jam. Jill Scott had some amazing stuff. There was a poem by Bao Fi that I really liked. I don't know what happened to them, so that's a disclaimer, because when you mention an artist and you don't know what happened to them, there might be a reason why you don't know what happens to them, because like cough cough turfy stuff happens. So just in case, like I'm not vouching for anybody. Who else gotta say Audre Lorde, gotta say Langston Hughes. I mean, like there's so many like historic people. Maya Angelou. And then there's like friends that I know that are also super dope. There's like I find inspiration in so many people.
Yeah.
There's so many people. I like my brain is like on a Rolodex right now. I can't say the names.
It's listen. So many of these questions are like that. It's just like why?
Yeah. There's more that I know I'm missing. Vanessa Rappa, if you don't know who that is, like look her up. She's amazing. There's so many people. I'll leave it at that, but there's so many.
Yeah. So this is my favorite question to ask people on this show. And because I think it's just like this is what we should be focusing on as far as like trans lives. What gives you gender euphoria?
Oh, I'm still figuring a lot of that out. But one of my friends messaged me or like commented on my story or something. I don't remember where it came from, but one of my friends messaged me and called me handsome, and I was like, the beam of light that just like went through my entire body and then came out, and now I have like a unicorn with like freaking rainbow shooting out of my ass, like so unexpected. Yeah, and it's not even like that I wanted that I want to be called handsome all the time. It's just like hearing it, because they're being trans. I liken it to being Black, but because in being Black, I've had to contend with there's who I am and there's how people view me and therefore view me. And being trans is the same thing. It's like there's who you are, and then there's how the world views you and therefore treats you. And so you in some way have to contend with both because there's safety involved. There's just so many factors involved. Like, this is a trans show. I don't have to explain that, but and so many people perceive me as femme, perceive me as a woman. And so those are, when it comes to like terms of endearment, there's like some other word for those that's more technical that I can't remember what it is right now, but people will default to those types of words where I'm like, man, that's cool. Like, I understand, but like, but then to have someone call me handsome, I was just like,
yeah.
I also really like being called dapper. Doesn't happen very often, but when it does,
speaking my language.
Having like my little there's always when people are like, oh, don't shave your face because then the hair will grow in stronger. And I was like, I'm gonna test this theory and see what happens. So I have like my little peach fuzz above my upper lip that like makes me very happy some days, and then other days I'm like, nah, I'm gonna shave this off, but it's gonna come back even stronger. Wearing a nice, like, there are these cardigans. Are they cardigans? It's a sweater. It's a cardigan sweater.
Okay.
Is a cardigan when it's open, or can it be closed and be?
It could be a cardigan. A cardigan is just like, it can be. It would. Yeah, it has the opening.
Okay.
Yeah.
It
can be closed or open, but it's
gotcha. This is the extent of my fashion knowledge. I'm trying to up it. Oof. But I got these like cardigan sweaters from Old Navy. They were on sale, and they're super soft, and they're like they like hit in the right places where it doesn't feel like, I feel like a lot of times when I try to find, because the got to deal with this chest. But for now, it's here, and I love you, chest. I do, but you gotta go. It like sits in a way where it doesn't feel like I'm wearing a tent, which is really nice. So hit up Old Navy if you check out the men's section. Those cardigans, they're real soft. They're real soft. That makes me happy. I'm still figuring out. Oh, and when I put on a bow tie, I don't wear them all the time, but like, a bow tie and suspenders. But again, I love you, Jess, but you gotta go. You're messing some stuff up for me. But yeah, like on a day with like a good pair of suspenders. There was one day when I was hosting FlameCon and I was wearing my suspenders and my bow tie, and I was just like, this is the best day ever. So more of that. And also my hair, just like probably a weird, because for anyone out there who feels like, if you're pushing the boundaries of the gender binary, then like you must cut your hair off or shave your head. that was something that I contended with for a while because I was like, am I really non-binary if I keep all of my hair? Like, what does this mean? Everyone that I know, they shave their hair, they cut their hair, they get, and I'm like, I don't want that. I want to grow my hair and let it just keep doing what it's doing without feeling like the pressure to keep up with any expectations that come along with being Black and having natural hair, and that's a whole other conversation. But my hair, like, just letting it grow and just letting it be wild, and having days where I'm like, I don't have to. I can just let this just be what it is. I don't have to make it presentable in any sort of way. Like, what does presentable even mean? That's those are some of the things.
Awesome.
Oh, and a good color of lipstick or lip color. The brighter the better, the bolder the better. I know there's the blue lipstick, which I haven't worn in a while because I'm at home. So it's like I put it on to like do things. And then the sleeves are done. I'm like, now this feels weird. I didn't hear blue lipstick on. I don't know why, but the blue lipstick's still there. My friend got me a few other colors that I just that also does it.
Yep. So here's the question everybody loves to be asked because we all have an answer. What cis nonsense are you sick of?
Where do I even start? I only paused because I wanted to cut out the F word that was in my head. We just run down a list. Number 1, thinking that non-binary folks are somehow women light or just like malleable or somehow like we are pawns to be used in like a feminist game of like of numbers. Don't do that shit. Number 2, which is probably coming off of number 1. Talking about my parts. Don't talk to me about my parts. Don't assume my parts. Don't talk to me about. I had someone who like went into this whole conversation with me about a fertility clinic and how like, oh, depending on how old you are, you might want to go get your eggs frozen. And don't talk to me about my parts. Period. Don't talk to me about my parts. Unless I bring it up, don't talk to me about it. And because you're cis, even if I bring it up, do not respond. Just let me talk. Number 3, understand gender dysphoria. If you are an OBGYN, understand gender dysphoria. I'm really trying not to like curse right now, but like understand it. And if I'm coming in to do the duck lips exam, just do the freaking exam and leave the rest of the other crap out of it. Like, you don't need to make comments about like, oh, men do this and men do that. Because what I'm sitting there thinking is like, well, I'm neither, so I don't know what. Number 4, that whole narrative about being tricked by a trans woman. Stop that. It's not cute. It's not insightful. It's not the flux you think it is. Stop that. Stop it. And like even down to people who are related to me by blood. Stop that. Stop. It's not cute. Spin off of that as a cishet man. If you have ever been hit on by a trans woman, don't try to use that as like I was also in danger. No, you weren't. There is a power structure. No, you weren't. Stop it. Stop. Right off in the sunset with your freaking privilege and stop. Stop trying to like make things about you because it's not about you. It's not about you. Everything else in life is about you. This has nothing to do with you. Sit down, shut up, and listen. What else? Oh, casting calls. Yo, it's not cute for you to suddenly want to jump on this trend of calling, just like changing a character on the casting breakdown to say that they're non-binary or to say that they're trans, when you know that you are looking for a very specific type of trans or what you think is non-binary in your mind. Newsflash, non-binary and androgyny are not the same thing. So stop doing that shit. It's really annoying.
Yep.
And if you don't know what you're doing or what you're talking about, just like don't put it in your casting breakdown. If you don't know any trans folks, like you have no business trying to tell our stories. Like, and you are not going to change a character to hire one of us to then have to be your forced consultant. Like, especially being a Black trans person, I already have white folks like trying to pick my brain about things about that thing. If you have to pick my brain about it, you have no business writing about it. Leave it to Black folks. If you have to pick a trans person's brain, if you have to ask a trans person to consult for you on your project because you don't know anything about transness, it's not your story to tell. Tell you what, take that money, take that funding, back that trans person so they can tell the story.
Yep.
I think that's, there's so much more.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'll leave it.
Oh no. This is a little different. It's a little more complicated, but like I've seen some casting calls. I've never seen the other one. I mean, like maybe if I'm like a trans person's doing it, I'll see this, but I've never seen the other one. I've seen a bunch of like trans men or non-binary. It's just like, no, and I'm just like, so can I go out for that?
Like, yeah, it's like, well, what?
It's like I've never seen trans woman or you know, like that's not.
It's
not the same. Oh, so you want? So what you're saying is assigned female.
Yeah,
female.
right. It's like, and I've even seen casting calls that are like, oh, trans person, parentheses, AFAB.
Yep.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? In what I'm doing, in this project, why does it matter?
Yeah.
Some doctor 35 freaking years ago assigned to me. Yep. What does that matter for the character?
And here's the thing, Lynaé. I did go out for one of those parts. I'm just like, it's like butch woman, trans masculine person, or non-binary person. I'm just like, what? Two of those things.
Like, check. What you?
And they were like, oh, we'd really like to. Wow, like I think this part's yours. And we're just like, okay, cool. And they're just like, so. And then like we're just like, wait, are you a trans woman? I'm just like, yeah. Like you wanted to give it to me though.
What you?
It's like, listen, nowhere in this part is there anything like specific. This is like, I'm just like, I relate to this. Like I can. It's just like, yeah, no.
That.
Okay. Sure.
It's
just like, hey, I have two of these. It's just like, I know, and like my thing was just like, oh, so you want like an androgynous, you want an androgynous person. I think.
Well, based on the breakdown, it's like I think that's what you're trying to describe, maybe.
Yes, so
it's like understand these words that you're using. They mean things. They all mean things.
Yeah.
You may think they're just buzzwords, but they all mean things.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought of one more.
Okay. I have one after you.
Along with casting and media, it's okay to have, because I've seen this like recent uptick of casting trans men, and I think this is dope, but it's okay. Just as we finally realize that it's okay to have a trans woman in your show and not ever point to any of that and just allow her to just be a character without having to all be about her being trans. The same thing for trans men. It is okay to cast a trans man and not have to constantly point at the fact that he is trans, or oh my gosh, that this cis woman wants to be with him, and how progressive is she for wanting to be? Grr, stop. Like,
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll move on to the fun stuff just a second, but I got one, and this is, if I see or hear one more cis dude comedian comment on it about, because I run an open mic for a Zoom mic for trans people, and I've seen it multiple times when I post about it, or when I see posts about, maybe you know what's coming.
They do.
Posts about women in LGBT mics or shows. If I see one more straight cis male comedian do the fucking, can I go if I wear a dress? It's just like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
It's like, why? What?
It's just like,
what?
It's just like, listen, if you want, or like, hey, you know, this, why, you know, if this were a straight mic, it's just like, well, first off, like, straight isn't the opposite of trans, so that's
right,
like, that's
which is, you know,
but also, like, if you want a straight mic, just go to an open mic.
That's literally 99% of open mic.
A straight cis white man mic.
Like
that's
99.9%.
Any comedy club on like in the afternoon.
What? Tell you what. Yeah, cool. Go ahead. Sure. Wear a dress. You can do this, Mike. But we're gonna treat you the way that you treat us when we come to your mic. How about that? How about we do a little case study here? Because, like, what the fuck?
Like, you know, actually, you know what? Like, please, wear a dress and take the subway to that mic.
And what?
Just
no. There's also like that, though I appreciate it bothers me that, so, okay, if you are cis, it's great if you are gender bending. It's great if you know,
absolutely.
It's great, but stop taking up space. You are not groundbreaking, because like there was like there was an uptick in that too, where it was like, we're seeing these like cis male performers who were like, oh, they wore a dress. Oh my gosh, they're doing so much for trans folks. No, they're not. No, they're not.
No.
Like, what? For me, all it does is, it's like, okay, so you are telling, like, that is, there is a whole issue with like the man in the dress narrative, and like that, it's not the thinking that is doing something for trans folks somehow is like it's not the progressive thing that you think it is. It's dope. Gender bending. Yes. Do it. But like,
and like I think that does in some ways combat like misogyny and the bullshit around that. Like, totally.
It does. But also, like, there are trans people. Like, don't support. My thing is, like, don't support gender bending when it's coming from your cis faith. If you're not supporting trans folks in every other moment of your life. Because it's not the flex you think it is. It's not posting that cis man in a dress. I'm like, yo, do it. Yes, gender bend. But also, like, that does not that does not mean you are not transphobic as a person who is supporting this man who decided to wear a dress. Like, that does not mean that you are not transphobic or that you are somehow now able to say, well, no, I supported this person, so I can't. No, it's not the flex you think it is. Like, if you're not
doing that doesn't even mean they can't be transphobic.
Exactly. Like, it's not. There's so much to unpack.
Ask RuPaul 5 years ago. He's doing a little better now.
But it took a lot to get there. I feel like we're all trying to like hold on to RuPaul. Like, please don't fuck this up.
We've been talking for so long. Okay, listen, we could both go on forever, and I would love to let you go on forever. But moving on to, I call this, because I can't think of a better name for it. I call this portion nonsense questions.
Right.
Okay, but like nonsense in the best way. Like, this is just like, we're gonna have some fun. This is like no heavy shit right now. Okay, just these are the things you don't get asked enough in an interview. What is your comfort food, comfort music, comfort movie?
Comfort food. Oh, I'm like thinking of all these like sweets in my head, but I'm like, popcorn, stovetop popcorn, nutritional yeast, some cayenne pepper,
nice,
a little salt, a little regular pepper, a lot of hot sauce.
Nice.
Yeah. Comfort movie. If I need a good cry, it's Set It Off. Because then I don't have to like cop to why I'm crying and just get to the end and I'm like, it's so sad. But I watch it when like I know, like, mental health wise, like I need to like release, but I just won't let myself cry. Yeah. And then and also Multiplicity if I need like a good laugh, and Harlem Nights. Those are probably like my three. And Big Trouble in Little China, and I know it's problematic. That's been my favorite movie since I was like 3.
Just listen, same.
Old school Kim Cattrall, like it's wait, it was comfort food, comfort movie. What was the other one?
Comfort music.
Music. Oh, if I really need an escape, Fortet reminds me of a time when a friend in college helped me out and like left me on a rooftop with a bowl and some like an Australian magazine and Fortet playing in like the old school headphones with like little like felt things on them. Yeah, that's probably like my, and then Zaya and I, although R.I.P. Zumbi, it's a little hard to listen to right now because that's still fresh, but that would be my other comfort music.
Okay, there is a question here written down. I can't read my handwriting. It looks like it says hobby maze. What is your no? What's your favorite holiday movie? I guess I'll ask that because we're.
Oh, I was like, hobby mayonnaise? What's happening?
Actually, yeah, holiday movie. It was just like close together.
It's oh, that's hard. No, it's not. It's House Guest. Which I've had to advocate because people are like, it's not a holiday movie. And I'm like, yes, it is. Yes, it is. It ends on like at the Christmas party, and the entire end credits, it's just Sinbad and Phil Hartman like making up holiday songs about food. it's definitely a holiday movie. If you haven't seen it, like, watch it.
Yeah. So going off the error before, just like because like hobby mayonnaise, what is your favorite condiment?
Favorite condiment?
It's like, hey, I mean, it's listen. These questions, they come to you for a reason.
Condiment.
I put I'm just a mustard person. It's like I know it's simple, but it's like
I
it's
like
basic.
mustard, but I'm allergic to it. It makes me break out in a rash on my face. Doesn't mean I don't have it sometimes, but then it means that like then if I have too much, then I start breaking out in a rash on my forehead, and I'm like, oh no, I have told on myself.
I would be in this boat.
So I have to like build up like a certain amount of like threshold, and then have like one thing with mustard, and that's it. My favorite condiment, I mean, probably. So all the Black in me is saying barbecue sauce, but then I'm also thinking Cholula. But I also know that I have definitely mixed some Sweet Baby Ray's with some Cholula and like made my own. Yeah. So it's like barbecue sauce. Oh, especially Kenny's barbecue sauce. Okay. All right. Maybe I just haven't been eating good food lately. Kenny's barbecue sauce. Shout out to Kenny's Ribs in Chicago. Kenny's barbecue sauce. And then either Cholula or Scotch bonnet it depends on what I'm eating. But yeah, those are.
I'm gonna be in Chicago in April. I will write that down.
Well, go find you a Kenny's barbecue and get some. If you wait, are you vegan?
I just don't right now. I eat meat again. I don't eat beef, and I don't eat a lot of pork. But I eat all the chicken, all the fish. I'll eat pork if it's a.
I mean, I've never liked pork, so I wouldn't have a pork recommendation. But get you some hot links. Oh wait, are they? No, they have rib tips, but I don't remember. Get you some hot links and some fried catfish. All the things that I can't eat anymore, but if I could, and the French fries. Definitely want the French fries. And they're gonna take like 2 pieces of white bread and they're gonna slap it on top. And then they're gonna pour a ton of barbecue sauce.
Okay.
And also go to Portillo's because you gotta get a charburger. You gotta get So go to in a bratwurst and all that. You just
Okay. Okay. Favorite animal? I might know this answer.
You know this. I figured I would be festive because we mentioned holiday movies, and so I was gonna have people over, but not with Omari, not anymore. So I'll be festive. My favorite animal, it's a tiger, and then close second is a duck-billed platypus.
Nice.
There's something about them being really cute, but then also being poisonous that I just.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. If you could have any superpower besides being amazing, which you already have, what superpower would you have?
Shape shifting.
Oh, so you're trans.
Yeah.
That's what it's like listen, if you are a kid, I'm sorry to like break this to you. It's good to learn it early. If you are a kid right now whose like answer to this question is like, I really wish I could shapeshift. Yeah, you probably trans.
It's gonna be one of those things you look back on when you're our age, like, oh, it's been that all along.
Why I was obsessed with werewolves.
I think, yeah, our generation. If you were super into Animorphs, you probably are trans.
Oh, I need to reach out to some kids I went to school with.
It's yeah. We were talking about that. What were we? Oh, we're talking we were talking about getting our booster shots and like our bodies just going through it.
Uh-huh.
I was like, if there's anything that was gonna happen from like getting vaccinated, like 10 years on the line, they're like, oh, oops, you all have superpowers now. I really hope that mine is to shapeshift. I want to be able to shapeshift.
You know what? Oh my god. Okay, this is and listen, all those people who didn't get vaccinated, well, you don't get the superpowers.
You just, hey, unless you're not getting it because you're immunocompromised, in which case, like you are, I mean, you're gonna have like
we'll
double
work it out. We'll
superpowers.
get you the superpowers.
Now I keep thinking about shapeshifting.
So final question. Who are some trans folks that you think are doing some awesome work right now? It doesn't need to be in the arts, it can be in any field.
Oh my gosh.
This is another one where you're gonna, in like 5 minutes after this call, you're like, God damn it.
Oh my gosh. How you want me to break this down? Oh gosh. Okay. Tatiana, who runs Bridges for Life, who's also like, she doesn't know it, but like I look at her as my trans mother. She doesn't know it. I should probably tell her that. But like we've never actually met in person. We met virtually once, and I just my brain's like, Rolodex, say all the names. I always throw Bob the drag queen in there. I think that people often forget that he is non-binary and also doing a lot of dope stuff, and just like all around like inspirational and amazing. And if you have not watched We're Here, watch it. It's on HBO Max. You will cry. As is any super queer trans show, you do have to like search it. You can't find it in the suggestions or their main shows, even though it should be there unless you add it to your watch list. So like you have to search for it, but it's like we're here, not we are here. Otherwise it won't come up. But search for it. It's great. Who else? Oh my gosh. Everyone behind For the Girls.
Yeah.
God, there's so many groups. Also anyone who has canceled their events for Christmas and New Year's in the wake of the surge of COVID cases within the trans community. Already super dope. Everyone behind Glitz, everyone behind, oh my gosh, there's so many. I said Bridges for Life. What is the other one? Oh my gosh. Nope, because I'm not gonna mess this up. Hang on. It's my Chicago group, and for some reason I'm like completely blanking on the name right now, and I don't want to blank on them because they are amazing. And it's like all these people that I'm like, why didn't I meet you when I lived there? It would have been so much easier to be who I am. Also Erica Hart and Ebony, who are just like that amazing trans couple. And also like if you haven't checked out their podcasts and or just like follow Erica Hart and just follow their lives, there's a lot of comfort in that. Who am I looking for? No. Oh my gosh. Trans Santa, look up Trans Santa.
Oh yeah.
That's
absolutely
dope. Oh my gosh. So many. Now I'm like going international. There's so many people. I tell you what. No, let me find this other one. Oh wait, is that what it is? I think it is. I think. Why can't I think of the? Literally just no. Oh, this is gonna bother me. Oh, I know what to do. I'm acting like there's so many of these. No, here we go. One moment. Thank you, Brave Space Alliance. I was like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's when there isn't trans in the name that I'm like, there's so many people. I don't even I like I don't want to forget anyone, because there's so many people, and now I feel like I'm gonna like not name people, and then it's gonna be the whole thing. I'll tell you what, because there's a lot. If you follow me, then you can also find them, because I follow a lot of these people, and that's why I'm trying to like go through the list of like, don't forget anybody. Who's Queen Jean. Who else is out there? Oh my gosh, and I think I'm only talking about New York, but there's also like Lynaé. There's Lina Quebrada. There's so many people. Follow me, and like if you DM me or just like follow me and look through the people. Most of the people that I follow are trans. So
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, I feel like I'm missing people that I'm gonna be like, no, Sammie, this is a hard question. It feels like an acceptance.
Did fine.
Don't forget anybody. Think all the people who have. There's so.
Yeah.
Did I miss anyone who's like, who I'm like super super connected to that I'm gonna be like, oh, but I love you. There's a ton of people out there who are doing a ton of amazing work. It's both like nerve-wracking to be like, I know I'm missing so many people, because I know I'm missing because I just, my brain going through my mouth to get to words is hard too. But it's also really beautiful to have that problem. Also, shout out to Transgrio. We lost our Transgrio, but shout out to Transgrio. That's yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
There's so many. Okay, I'll leave it at that. If I didn't mention someone, like there's so many people who are doing so much work that I don't even there's more. BFTA Collective. There's so many. Follow me, and then I'll point you in the direction. Yeah. So I'll leave it there.
Follow them. Yeah. So, Lynaé, thank you so much for talking to me today. It's so nice to see you.
Thank you for having me. This is awesome. How is it getting no? Why is it dark?
Because we've been talking for an hour. Also, it's 4, so why is it dark?
It's only 4:06. I need 20 more minutes.
Yeah.
I can't. If it's gonna get dark this early, I need snow. I just it can't be warm and then also get dark this early.
Yeah.
I'm lodging a complaint.
Thank you so much for this. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Now, or if after it gets posted places. If you enjoyed this, we do this most weeks. And tune in next time for a wonderful conversation with one of our trans faves. And if you don't have New Year's plans yet, New Year's Eve plans, well, We Are Trans has you covered. I need to put this link in the comments. I will do it after I post this. I hope. So, We Are Trans has you covered with I'm going to go out on a limb and say the first annual.
Yes.
They, them, mayhem. What is they, them, mayhem, you ask? Good question. That is a bunch of trans performers who have two things in common. They all use they, them pronouns in some capacity. Some are she, theys like me, or he, theys, or, they use they, them in some capacity. And two, they're amazing. I there's so many great people. Kenny Hahn, Parker, aka Witch Hazel, Lynaé. Just so many. Listen, this is people I booked, and I'm blanking on names.
It's the lineup is absolutely. I mean, like, I don't, because I'm on it, so I don't want to but like the lineup is pretty stacked. This is
and it's like, listen, I've had people like, hey, do you have to look like I've booked too many people. And it's also just like, I'm like, listen, I will book you, but like, please say it's okay that I'm just like, it's like, I've booked too many people. I will get you on something.
I mean,
I'll get you on another show sometime.
Again, it's a great problem to have, but also like, we got Omarion out here rearing its head, especially if you're in New York City. Well, really anywhere in the country. So like, it's a virtual event, so you get to tune in and watch some dope performers.
Yeah.
In the comfort of your own home.
Yeah, and it's at 7 p.m. Eastern. So you can then go, do a normal midnight New Year's thing, or what I'm gonna do, go to bed at a reasonable time. So I hope to see you at that. I hope to see you the next time on Trans Talks. It will be another wonderful person. But until then.